We're always told that to win a fight, you've got to fight harder. But what if the most powerful move you can make in a super high-pressure situation is the one nobody sees coming? Today, we're going to dig into a strategy that feels totally backwards, a way to find strength not by fighting back, but by strategically taking all the tension out of the room. Let's dive in.
We have all been there. That tense meeting, that awful conversation where you can just feel the air getting thick. You feel cornered, you feel pressured, like you're being forced into a corner you don't want to be in. Well, there's actually a name for that intense state of pressure. It's called duress.
Okay, so the official legal definition talks about unlawful stuff, right? But what we're talking about today is that intense interpersonal pressure, that feeling of being completely backed into a corner by someone. And you know what? That really matters because you can't get out of a trap until you realize you're in one. Just recognizing you're under duress is the first step to getting back in control.
And it's in those exact moments, those times of real duress, that we often learn the most surprising things about ourselves. So I want you to think about this for a second. What's something you only discovered about your own limits or your own strength when things got really tough?
And look, this isn't some abstract idea. We are talking about those incredibly draining real-life moments, like dealing with someone who's just relentlessly negative, or that horrible feeling when you realize you're being gaslit, or maybe you're just pulled into some big drama because the other person is, just spoiling for a fight.
So, what do? Your gut is probably screaming at you to push back, to argue, to defend yourself. But the strategy we're going to look at today completely flips that script. It's an incredibly powerful tool for de-escalation, and it's called the politeness strategy.
Yep, you heard that right. The whole idea is to basically put out the fire, not by spraying more gasoline, but by taking away all the oxygen. You meet that intense, aggressive energy with this unexpected way of calm, polite gratitude. It feels totally unnatural, I know, but that's exactly why it's so effective. So how does this actually work? Well, it breaks down into 4 really simple steps. First, you've just got to recognize what's happening. See the tension for what it is. Second, you deliberately hit back with over-the-top politeness. I'm talking, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. Now, step 3, this is the real game changer. You admit some tiny piece of the fault. It totally disarms them. And finally, you immediately pivot to solving the problem. How can we fix this together?
And this is the absolute genius of it. See, someone who comes at you all fired up, they expect to fight. They have this aggressive rhythm going. But when you meet them with calm and politeness, it throws them completely off balance. You're not playing their game anymore, you're making them play yours.
But let's be super clear about something. This is not about being weak. It's not about being a pushover. This is about being strategic. It's about consciously choosing which hills are actually worth dying on. It really just comes down to 2 totally different ways of thinking in a conflict. On one side, you have the need to win, and that costs a ton of energy, it drags the fight out forever, and it's all about proving you're right. But on the other side, you have the need to resolve. That's low energy, it's quick, and the only goal is to find some peace and just move on. And here's the crucial part. This whole thing is about listening to your gut. You already know when something just isn't worth fighting over. Sometimes the other person just needs to feel like they won. And if you can give them that feeling while you get what you really want, which is just to end the conflict, then who actually came out on top? I mean, it all boils down to one simple truth. Your energy is not unlimited. It's a finite resource. As the source for this explainer says, there's so much to think about in a day, so we decide where we want to spend our energy. Every pointless fight you get into is energy you can't spend on something that actually matters to you. But this strategy is so much more than just a clever little trick. It's actually a form of deep, profound strength. It's about completely reframing our whole idea of what it even means to be courageous when you're under pressure. And we have to be honest about the hard part. Swallowing your pride, admitting fault for something you don't really believe is your fault, that stings. It really does. It can leave you with what our source here calls a rain cloud hanging over your head for a little while. This isn't some magic solution that feels great in the moment. So the key is, you need a plan for how to shake off that feeling. Find a disruptor. Go talk to a friendly coworker, take a quick walk outside, or just consciously put some mental space between you and what just happened. It's all about actively managing that emotional fallout. And see, it all comes back to this one central idea, awareness. Just recognizing that you're in a pinch, recognizing that you feel kind of down because you chose peace over pride.
That recognition alone is the first and most important step to getting past it.
And all of this points to a totally different, and I think much deeper understanding of what courage is. We tend to think of courage as this big, loud, heroic roar. But there's another kind, and it's captured perfectly in this idea. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just quietly refuses to quit.
So what is quiet courage? It's exactly this. It's the strength to take a hit for the sake of a bigger goal. It's the resilience to feel that little rain cloud but then shake it off and keep moving forward. It's not about roaring back. It's about quietly refusing to be broken or dragged down into fights that drain you of everything. It's the art of still standing.
So, the next time you find yourself in one of those really high-tension moments, just remember you have a choice. You can match that chaotic energy and risk a total crash, or you can pull out this strategy of overwhelming politeness. It is definitely not the easy path in the moment, but it is the path of quiet courage. So, what are you going to choose?